This King KAMBUF, 100 proof, bringing you nothing but the truth. Deep diving into a new architectural lesson, programming and planning. The forms, the prototype, the introduction. All building projects should be organized, fulfilling the purpose as efficiently, humane, and responsible manner. These accomplished, this is the plan of the project. Must be developed that sets forth how the work should be done. The essential element of this plan is the project program. The organization of the program has a fundamental effect on the usefulness, efficiency, the comfort of the project program development. Therefore, must consider various organizational concepts together with the factors in the may influence the project, such as the natural, sustainable, social, cultural, visual, functional requirements. A useful approach to the program establishes the order of importance or hierarchy of the functionals in the functions of the space. Central locations usually appropriate for the space that are used frequently by the majority of the occupants. Similar peripheral locations are appropriate for spaces by the similar number of occupants for the use of the smaller numbers of occupants for the more specific activities. Thus, on a college campus, the library will be occupied by the central location, the classrooms nearby, and the laboratories and shops located on the periphery, one of the restricted sites. The elements may be organized vertically. In the case of heavy use areas, will create a location on the lower floors, while activities are less people extensive would take place at higher levels. There are essentials to approach used to determine the suitability of the particular organizational pattern and the first arrange of the major activities in the relation of the physical characteristics of the site. The site is restrictive in the size. For the example, might suggest a multi-level building where the site is born on a river and the view is particularly attractive, and the linear arrangements might be appropriate. In the second approach, the pattern is based on the logical organization of activities, such as the organizational patterns could be expressed diagrammatically. However, the diagram should not be regarded as the actual floor plan, but merely the suggested relationship of building functions in the practice of the two approach. And generally combine, that is, organizational patterns that determines by both the site condition and the functional requirements. Designers have available a fairly conventional palette of form prototypes which can be used in single stories of the multiple story configurations. The simplest of the rectangle. Rectangles can be arranged from a start of the form of the axle, form of the quadrangle forms, and they can be linked to the series of the creative grid. Circular configurations using rectangles or else if possible or angular joints. And particular useful form is a quadrangle in the activities and house of each, and the four compromised sides and all activities accessible in the central courtyard space. Each organizational patterns has eccentric functional implications, such as the degree of flexibility, desperation, or concentration, degree and accessibility, and the individuality or repetitiveness of parts. Although using familiar geometrical shapes in organized space in common practice, it should be done judiciously to ensure that the form is appropriate, etc., that it will satisfy functional need from the best derived from a thorough study of all functional needs in relationship to the specific site. Furthermore, many activities may be organized in a way that several acceptable ways. The determination of the appropriate and must be measured against the building's function site, cost, and other important aspects of the project. In the end, for the form and the concept thoroughly analyzed in the relationship to the requirements to be served will be the most satisfactory. Organizational values, the physical form, The physical form of the project has numerous implications in the interest of the creation of a successful design. The following general aspects should be considered and satisfy behavioral interests and objectives. Must be satisfied and must be determined if there is an ample space in the program. People perform their tasks. One must understand the people using the facility or to determine the spatial setting facilities of work. Circulation aspects refer to the ease in which persons, information, and goods can move within a facility. In certain areas, it may be desirable to allow free movement and frequent interpersonal interaction. In other areas, it may be necessary to minimize social interactions or for reason of privacy. Circulation and interpersonal communication, we see, may be encouraged by providing common corridors and an attractive dining facility, central service facility, etc. In contrast, in paternity boundaries, crowded corridors, and remote service points, restrictive circulation while pending impersonation and personal contact. Health aspect refer to those factors that cause stress and threats health, and those noise, crowded, and unsafe conditions, etc. Environment forms can affect those physical and emotional health. Adaptive aspects are those that facilitate future change in its organization, functions, and operations, and figure the projects often change over time. Therefore, the physical form and arrangements of the building must be sufficiently flexible to accommodate future modifications, adaptability, and facilitate by the use of the repetitive basic spatial unit and module separation of service arenas, areas being served regularly laid out, wall flexibility and well spelled out, and properly partitioned basis building spaces. Cost spaces often determine the organizational patterns of the planet development cost, because costs may be reduced to the reusing regardless of the form, impact, arrangements. The higher density, lower design and construction standards is obviously another method of reducing costs. However, the initial cost savings may be offset by the higher maintenance and operation costs over the life of the building. Organization designs. Alright, we're gonna stop. It's King KAMBUF, bringing you nothing but the truth. 100 proof.